Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video with the Omega Enthusiast. This video will be on my personal Rolex collection. Hope you guys will enjoy it. Do not forget to hit on that thumbs up button below to support this channel. With your support, it will help this channel YouTube algorithm to reach out to more viewers. More views will help motivate me to produce more of these educational videos. Here are my 5 vintage Rolex timepieces. Let us begin with the oldest piece in my Rolex collection. This is my 1942 Rolex Standard, which was made and sold for the Canadian market during World War II. Like majority of imported watches to Canada or to the US, only the movement is imported from Switzerland to save on tariff costs. Since the case is not made by Rolex, they are normally unsigned or just stamped Rolex in full cap. The case is made of gold fill with a steel case back. Solid gold was expensive since a great deal was being used during the Second World War. I bought this piece from a domestic Canadian collector. It was pretty much love at first sight when he showed it to me. Normally, you would think a Rolex of having an Oyster type case, but a rectangular Rolex is something you do not normally see, and these fancy looking lugs are a bonus. The length of the case is about 43 mm long. Gold cases are easy to get this type of tarnish on the case, which can be easily removed with a jeweler polishing cloth. This is by far one of the nicest preserved vintage Rolex Standard that I've seen. The second piece that I have here is my 1951 Rolex Oyster Perpetual watch. The case model on this one is 6084, which is a semi-bubble back case model without the screwed locked Oyster type crown. Therefore, you do not need to unscrew the crown first in order to wind or pull it out to set the time. This model refers to as a semi-bubble back, since the original Rolex bubble back are made smaller, which makes the case back appear more dome. The case on this watch measures 34 mm in diameter, excluding the crown, and has a fixed bezel. I bought this piece off a collector friend of mine. I wanted this Rolex for the reason that it resembled the 1950s British Everest expedition led by Hugh Redledge. But, of course, this is not the exact same case model. Like most 34 mm Rolexes, their case lugs width measures 19 mm wide. In order to open the case back of a Rolex, you must need a special Rolex case back opener, or you can damage the case back. Inside the case, you have a Rolex bubble back movement. Watch number 3 is my Rolex Oyster Perpetual Datejust, dating to 1985. In my entire watch collection, this is definitely the youngest timepiece that I own. Regardless of what decade a Datejust model is, the design has not changed much over the years. But this is not the main reason why I bought this timepiece. I bought it because this is my birth year watch. This is a 16014 case model, which means the crystal can be fitted with acrylic or sapphire. The case diameter is 36 mm and has a 20 mm lug width. The crown on a Datejust is a screw lock type, so in order to set the time, you must unscrew the crown first and make sure you screw it back on afterward. Case model 16014 takes a caliber 3035 automatic movement, which has the quick set date function and the hack set for the second hand. One way to tell the difference between a 16,000 series and a 1600 series Datejust are to compare their dials differences. 16,000 dials is always flat, while 1600 dial has a bevel circumference. Watch number 4 is my 1953 Rolex Oyster Perpetual Semi-Bubble Back. The case model on this one is 6284, which is almost identical to the second piece that I have. The differences are this piece takes a screw lock crown and has a removable bezel. Case diameter is the same at 34 mm excluding the crown. I really like this watch for its dials variation, which is very similar to a Rolex Explorer. The other thing that I like about these 1950s Rolexes are their blue sweep steel second hand. What is the difference between an Oyster and an Oyster Perpetual? For those of you who are unfamiliar with Rolexes, Oyster alone on the dial represent a manual wind watch on an Oyster type case, whereas Oyster Perpetual represents an automatic Rolex watch. The earliest Rolex automatic movement are these bubble back type movement. Last but not least is my 1962 Rolex Oyster Perpetual Explorer Precision Watch. Strangely enough, I am not a fan of the original military type luminous Explorer dial, like those on the case model 6610 or 1016. I've always wanted this version for quite some time and finally I found one. This is my latest addition to my Rolex collection. The case model for this Explorer is 5501. The case diameter is 34 mm excluding the crown. The bezel on this watch is made of solid gold. The automatic movement is a Rolex 1530 with 26 jewel. 1530 is the non-date version of a caliber 1570. I feel that Rolex best movement innovation started with their 1500 series caliber. I am no Rolex specialist, therefore I do spend plenty of time self-educating myself prior to buying the watch, and you should do the same. If you are new to the vintage watch market, I suggest you to watch the video link above prior to buying your first vintage watch. That's the end of this video. Let me know which is your favorite piece out of the 5 by leaving your comment below. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Please support the channel by hitting on that thumbs up button below and do not forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on any of my future episodes. If you have any comment or question, please leave them in the comment section below. My website and Instagram links are in the description box below. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.